There's, I think free trade was advertised a lot, and a lot of people think that messed things up. Because what free trade meant was, didn't matter where you were buying in the world, you didn't have to pay any different taxes. It was, everyone was trading, no extra charge. But that's exactly what messed us up. Because if we can get Chinese workers to work for 2 cents, and we don't have to pay any extra taxes, we're going to go with China. And then happens in Canada? People that are expecting $10 an hour, no, you're not getting a job. Everything's going to China. We're getting China to do everything.
Yeah, China or robots.
Or robots, that's right.
I've heard that, like, there's driving robots are getting so crazy that, like, eventually just, like, there's a huge amount of the population that's employed in the transport, like driving transport trucks and trains or whatever else. And eventually it's just going to be all robots doing that shit. Yeah. It's like, then what are you going to do with all those unemployed people?
It's exciting, but a lot of people are scared. But it's exciting to think about how much more art we could create if we did that. All these people could then be working at their full potential rather than a job that's absolutely meaningless. Let's find out what these people are good at and start using them to benefit society.
Yeah, I feel like that approach has, like, it always sounds so good to hear, but I don't know if it's right or wrong. Like, but because like I feel like with people with the amount of free time they already do have, which is at an unprecedented level, and they're just fucking becoming 600 pounds, and then
well, that's just it, and that's where it's super exciting to think that you would have all day off to do what you wanted. I mean, me and you left to our devices all day off, we'd probably get up to some no good, but also if we were to work together and come up with this job that we did creatively 5 or 6 hours a day or whatever, just to make us feel like we were still contributing to this bigger thing, me and you left to our devices would be fine the rest of our lives. It'd be great. It'd be like, yes, now I can do whatever the hell I want to do all the time.
So, like, I guess the question would have to be, like, there's definitely a lot of people who would do that too if they had the free time.
Agreed.
And especially if they had the support to be like, oh, like, I really have a passion and a talent for this. Like, can I really pursue that? And the culture is going to back me up for that. And it's like, yes. And like, how much would that motivate people? And then, but then how much does like the sheer necessity for struggle motivate people too?
Yeah.
But like, it's an interesting thing because like you give away that necessity and you have to adopt more of the responsibility to do it. And that takes like willpower and all those things, you know. So like, it's just hard. It's like,
well, I've been saying our methods of teaching have to change, really fundamentally. Exactly what you're saying.
And I think they've been changing in the wrong direction.
Yeah.
So I remember going through high school, and it's like all of a sudden the teachers aren't allowed to mark tests in red ink because it's going to hurt the kids' feelings. And like, I look back through my childhood, and I'm kind of thinking like, my feelings weren't hurt often enough. Like, I feel like I was just like, I feel like it was too easy. Like, I hardly had to try. Like, it was just like a fucking clean track. And it's all about like kids' self-esteem, and Carlin makes that fucking joke all the time, like the child worship shit. And it's just like, what good is it doing the kids? And like now they just get out into a fucking ruthless world that doesn't care whether they survive or not, and they're just expected that like you have a right to survive and feel good and be happy and all these things. It's like, it sounds great, but like, how feasible and realistic is it? Like, you do have the right to survive. I don't know. You don't like. Yeah. You know, whoever lives and dies, it has nothing to do with who deserves it. Obviously. If you haven't noticed that, like, Jesus, open your eyes. Like, there's crazy tragedy happening all the time. And so life is, in reality, has this brutal element to it, and we can't be raising kids with this whole idea, like, you just gotta feel good, you know? Don't let anyone hurt your feelings.
Safe place.
Safe
You're
space.
In this, I hate
no,
that.
the world is so, like,
I'm in a dental office, and this
you know?
is a
See if the animals
place?
give a shit about your safe space. Like, safe space.
No,
safe space.
Oh man,
there's no such thing, man.
I know.
It's not a real thing. You're never safe.
It's totally
you could die at any moment.
There's so many delusional, mentally ill people walking around out there. Just no one can tell them you need to get help or can force them to get help. If they want to be crazy and wild and ignorant, there's no one to say stop. You can do whatever you want. This is the power of free will. So all these people are just walking out there. No one can stop them.
Well, this is something Dylan and I were talking about. He was on the podcast too.
Yeah.
I think we might have been chatting about it at work. It was, you know, would it be a good idea to for everyone to have like a year of military service?
Oh yeah, of course.
And then we were thinking about like, okay, well, like, it just got my mind thinking about, like, okay, like, if we're just gonna figure out how to raise, like, a good human being, what should be included?
Yeah.
You know, like, what experiences
Dude,
should
this is the Republic of Plato. This is
yeah.
this is exactly what they talk about. Like,
Yeah.
how should we do this?
Yeah.
I'm telling you, that book's going to lay it down way better than we ever could, man. They explore all the possibilities.
This is something I want to get to as well, for sure, about philosophy and stuff, but I'll just finish this last point.
Yeah.
But basically, you know, we were talking about, like, definitely education, of course, maybe some sort of more, like, because I never got to choose any courses until, like, grade 11, but, you know, it's like one of the kid could start choosing things he's interested in at, you know, grade 5 or something even, would be fucking, you know, getting writing, talking, mathing, everything, and keep that shit going, and then, like, also, like, okay, so, like, what else do you do, like, and I feel like I had a lot of opportunity for that growing up where I did. Like, there was lots of extracurricular activities, sports teams and shit I had access to, and thank God for that. Cause
me too.
those aren't always available to kids. But anyways, you know, so, you know, that would be good. And then, like, maybe a year of military service, like, get that discipline, get that, like, harshness, get that fucking, like, self-control, the self-obedience, like, so that you have that responsibility and that willpower to do what's right with your free time and everything, and not just destroy your life. And then maybe, like, a fucking, like, you get a bunch of money because you do that, like, the military pays you for it, and then maybe you can take a year to travel the world, like, go wherever you want, like, and, like, experience different people in different parts of the world and different cultures, and like, maybe just do it out of a backpack and stay in hostels, and, you know, just rough it, you know, and, like, people should be going camping, people should be hiking in the forest, like, spending time in nature, and having a skill of some kind seems crucial, like some kind of craft that you work at, like playing music or gardening or landscaping or building things or painting, you know, any of these things, just something that you work at and you strive at and you work towards all the time. It's just like fucking, you don't do it to really ever become done with it or become like, okay, now I'm good. Like just like, it feels good to be on that track all the time. And like, as a human being, it feels good to like be working towards something and seeing yourself move towards it, and like just having something I think you should like shed away at every day. It's just like, it does so much good for your psychological health.
This is life experience that you've gained from doing these things and that you can talk about with confidence. And a lot of teachers in the school system can't do that. A lot of teachers went straight to college, went straight to teaching. It's like, what life experience do you have?
Yeah.
The school, and that's it. You can't speak about these things, you know? Some people take a year off for travel, but what's that, you know? It's not very much, but I think what you're saying, I think, is the same as what I want to see, and that's a total reform of the education system. I think what the system that we've grew up on was necessary, where we had these people, adults, with books, and they would read from the books and teach us this information that was precious. It was printed on these pages because it was valuable. And the only place to get it was at school, unless you were rich enough to have a library. Mm-hmm. Now, everyone's got a phone, everyone's got the encyclopedia, everyone's got the dictionary, everyone's got these countless millions and millions of books available to them. All of us do. And this country, anyway. So our education system is no longer one person distributing the information. That person's job now is to teach them how to siphon through this information. Teach them how to learn, basically. Yeah. It's no longer teaching information. You don't have to do that. The information's already there. Why would I memorize that war, when I can just look it up anytime? You know? Unless, of course, I love that. Then teach me how to find out more about that, you know? Mm-hmm. Like, from an early age, you know? Find out what they're into and get them to dive right into it. Teach them how to fish, you know? Why are we giving them... The system used to be, give us the fish, you know, give us the books, give us the information. Yeah. And now it's, teach me how to do this so that I can use this incredible gift, one of the best ever given, the freedom to everyone to speak to anyone across the world immediately. Yeah. Which we never had before.
It's unprecedented, man. It's like, and it kind of brings me back to, you mentioned Republic of Plato. I think this is one thing that is just, maybe it doesn't need mentioning, but there's not enough weight put to like the thinkers of the past. You know, like we're people who want to do philosophy and people who want to make the world better and who want to make society better. Like there's been like a lineage of dialogue and thoughts written in books, and you know, just like you could spend your life just reading these amazing authors from the past and learning, like, see how far they managed to take all these things, and then adding what you think on top of that, instead of just like being taught to be an activist, and you just moved out of your house and you're in your first year at university and you're going to these rallies and you're trying to change the world, so you don't know anything about the fucking world. You haven't done anything but live with your parents. They've been taking care of you fucking every step of the way.
Yeah.
You might not have even had chores like kids these days. Like, and it's just like, it's just fucking, it makes your stomach churn, you know? And just like, what a slap in the face of humans in the past, like as if they weren't as smart as us now, as if I know anything,
or valuable, you know?
Yeah, and it's like they were concerned with the same things.
Really
and you can tell when like you're reading things like those old books, and it's just like these human beings have been trying to figure out what we're doing here since we've been fucking smart enough to think about such a thing. And so fucking,
and some of them were geniuses,
yeah,
right? And they wrote that stuff down because
they wrote it down. And now we can just podcast, you know, and document things so easily and have conversations. But like back then, you had to just write down your ideas and your conversations and all these things.
Which, I mean, it's the same thing. They're
It's the
just
same
documenting
thing,
the information at that specific time, and it's amazing to see that a lot of the issues are the same, and a lot of the ideas that they had were great ideas. I mean, they had geniuses working on it. I'm not a genius, you know, so I can't come up with the ideas. But when I have an idea, someone's already come up with that idea and they probably explored it better than I have. But if I don't go and read that, then I'm just going to have these crappy half-assed ideas my whole life. And I'm never going to get any better.
Shitty ideas.
The whole idea is that we take the information of the past and make it better, and that's how we evolve, is by taking the information and get better. I tell my music students that all the time, like, here's the pentatonic scale, go explore that for a little while. And none of them really do. None of them really go and explore the pentatonic scale until I give them this sheet which has a bunch of blues licks on it, and I'm just like, here's what's been done in the past, all right? We're not the first guys. Tons of people have been set here with the pentatonic scale, and here's some of the best stuff that they've come up with. That's our job, to take that and make it better.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Fuck yeah.
Not just like wander around. Like, I told two of my students this today because they jam and it's awesome and I love it. It's my favorite combination. My best drummer and then a guitar player comes in. He's just getting better because the drummer's better. So he's growing exponentially. And I heard this story. I don't know if it was from you, Miranda, but apparently this family that had never heard any music, I think they were Amish or something like that, were given instruments, but they had never heard any music before. So people were fascinated. They made an album. And they were just like, I have to listen to it. Well, I haven't listened to it yet, but this is what I heard, the critique. They'd never heard any music, given instruments, they made an album, and it was terrible. Awful. Absolute garbage. Apparently. This is what I hear. I'm not saying that as I'll have to listen to it myself and come up with an opinion, but that's what I heard. And I think, I mean, you're the first guy with a guitar. You think you're going to be doing what you're doing now without all of the founding guitar fathers laying that stuff down for us, learning those licks. You think I'm going to get a guitar and know how to put it in tune immediately with the information, you know, like, how am I going to learn Beethoven, Bach, or Eddie Van Halen, or whatever, without them already doing it? I wouldn't be doing that. To say I'm the...
I think the real point is that we just owe so much to the people who lived before us.
Yeah, and we have a responsibility to learn that stuff.
Yeah, we have a responsibility to carry, like, pick up the torch, you know? Because, like, we're the people who are alive today, and, like... And I think the real aim, too, is just, like... you know, maybe by the time I'm 50 to have a fucking clue, you know? Like, just... if I spend enough time, like, over the years, like, trying to learn and shit, like... Maybe... who knows?
I love what Peterson does, and that's explore all the possibilities of the argument. Like, I love when he puts himself in different shoes, you know? And he does it so well, because he's just like, well, maybe you're this kind of person, and you think this kind of way, and then he just explores it to the end. Maybe you're this kind of person. So at that point of view, if someone introduces new information to him, I'm sure he's more than willing to accept it. He's like, oh, you're this kind of person. Now let's try and figure out your point of view, so I can actually come up with an informed opinion of what the actual best is, by exploring all the options, rather than just picking whichever one suits me. Well, my life already does this, so I'd like that option. Mm-hmm. It's just like, that's not the best one. Yeah, I didn't even explore the other ones. That's what I think about religion, too. You're a religious person. Have you looked at other religions?
Yeah.
Have you shopped around?
You go shopping.
Do you know what's out there? Like, no, I'm taught not to.
I'm still just driving the same car my parents gave me.
This is a religion I used to be a part of. I won't talk bad about them, but they said that... you know, it was not good to look up other information. You're basically listening to false prophets. Yeah. So, like, that's not good. I was like, exploring other... Just knowing what they're doing. Like, censorship of ideas, That's wild.
It is, man. You know. It's especially important to do that when your ideas aren't good, you know? You
Yeah.
gotta keep people on them.
Or you get a weird feeling about it, you know?
Well, yeah, it's like tribalism at the end of the day. It's just like, you know, you're part of this group, I'm part of this group, and like, we can't be friends because, or I don't even know if it's as intense as can't be friends. It certainly is sometimes, but just like this kind of like drawing dividing lines between human beings. I try to just like think about things that we all share, and I keep just thinking about how, like, I've mentioned it before on the podcast, how we're just like, we're born and we don't remember.
Yeah,
just
yeah.
born not knowing about anything, incredibly conscious and aware.
Yeah.
You know, and our